Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Yak Gadget, for all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs. Go to yakgadget.com. Eastport Marina, on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake, for all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs. Go to eastport.info. Now let's get this show started.
Hey guys, it's Takeover Tuesday. Let's do this.
Welcome to a special edition of the Rusty Hook Podcast, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. 1 hour of straight talk regarding tournament news, angler profiles, gear reviews, and more. Now let's get our show started by joining with John Rapp, our host.
All right, hey, welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. John Rapp here. We're streaming live via Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. We are hitting the Facebook pages of the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network and Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. So make sure you go like, subscribe, follow. As you can see, if you have been a follower of the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast over the past 3 years, you will remember our good friend Chris Payne of Payne Outdoors was a huge and major contributor to this show. He was a part of the show for almost the first year and a half. A weekly guest came on, would talk about gear reviews, he would talk about soft plastics, and he would talk about all the stuff that he got involved with his ventures at Payne Outdoors. But today, we're bringing Chris on to talk about his newest venture. And so without further ado, let's bring Chris to the show. Chris, welcome aboard, brother.
Hey, John, how are you?
Good, man. So, it's been really good to sit down and talk with you for the last half hour and catch up about all the ventures that you're into now. I mean, obviously, the West Virginia boys keep track of what you're doing. You've been a huge factor in our kayak fishing for the past couple years with your Payne Outdoor ventures. So just give us a rundown what you got going on now and what you're into and what you've been into. And I mean, let's just catch up, brother. Let's talk about what we haven't been able to talk about the last 6-8 months.
Yeah. So for those of you who think I do this full time, I don't. So I'm a hospital administrator, and so that keeps me pretty busy. And I get home at, 6 o'clock normally, and then go into the garage and I do all the outdoor things. So I will shoot baits and write articles and all the good stuff that I've been involved in since, it's been 11 years now. We had our 11-year anniversary August 1st. And so fitting as also on August 1st, we launched a new bait brand called BIGLAKEBAIT Company. I can't even say my own brand name. BIGLAKEBAIT Company. And we launched it the same day, 11 years later, after we launched my original outdoor brands, Payne's Paddlefish and then Payne Outdoors. And so a lot of people ask me, okay, what is this? It is a straight bait company. So this website is basically an e-commerce website where you can learn more about the baits, about me, about why we're doing what we're doing, all the things that are available. And you can select baits and buy them, or there's a contact form if you want to continue to have custom baits made, because that's really where we've made a lot of our business is people that can't get certain colors or even body styles anymore are like, hey, it'd be really nice if I could have a 10-inch worm in this color that, man's lure company hasn't made in 30 years. Or whatever it is. And all but one of those requests that we've received over the last 3 years we've been able to do. There was one color that I could not get. In fact, let me show you this. That thing haunts me so much, John. It's still right here. Like, I still have it, and I still will from time to time try to figure out how that color was made, and it's the only one I haven't been able to figure out. And I personally think it's because it sat in a box with other colors and it's kind of blended over time. That's the only thing I can figure out, because everything else I've been able to figure out. So this is a straight bait company. We're going to offer some things that we didn't necessarily offer with our previous bait company. We have some new molds that we're going to launch that you couldn't get on Payne Outdoors. And we're going to continue to add products. So there are currently 8 of our best sellers that are launched, that are live right now, that you can go and buy if you wanted to. So some of you who are familiar, you'll see our 5-inch fluke. But we have renamed these with the new branding so that people do not get confused. But you'll see some body styles that you recognize there.
Oh, yeah.
And so the bottom 2 are 2 of our newer ones. So the 65 worm and then the Big Liz. Big Liz has sold like crazy, and that is a monster worm. Let me show you. Let me show you how big this lizard is. So the Big Liz, if you read the description, it tells you it's 8 inches from the head to the bend. And then it's got another 3 inches of swimming tail. So that's how big that lizard is. And you see that ribbon that's built along that, and then a little bit of a bulbous tail. That thing will corkscrew through the water as it's falling off a ledge, or as it's dragging through a bed, or going down a road bed on a Carolina rig. Like that dude right there, that has been killer for us, because there's not that many 11-inch lizards on the market. There really aren't. We sell it as an 8-inch lizard to the bend, but in the water when it's swimming, it's an 11.5-inch worm. That we have sold. I bet I've sold, oh gosh, probably 50 or 60 bags of those since we got them. It's been phenomenal, and I've fished it, and it's crazy watching big fish follow behind that bait in clear water, and they look at it. Oh my gosh, it's almost like topwater fishing.
So we were talking earlier. Can you tell the guys and gals out there how Big Lake Bait became?
Yeah, I can. So for anybody who follows me on my personal Facebook page, you saw this post that came out August 1st, kind of late at night, and it was like, you know how sometimes you just get something stuck in your head, and it just keeps twisting, and you're like, I've got to do something with this. Well, I was listening to a song. I can't even remember the song. I just remember seeing the lyric flash across my screen that said, "Little fish in a big pond." And I'm like, big pond? Man, that sounds like a bait company. But there's lots of pond bait companies out there. And I was like, well, what about Big Lake? You know, what does that look like? And so I kind of turned that over in my head. This was all August 1st. I'm turning this over in my head, and I'm like, man, like Big Lake Bait Company, like that could work anywhere in the world. Like it's generic, but it's descriptive at the same time. And so I was like, well, okay, if I did a logo, what would the logo look like? And I kind of designed that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, great. And then I'm like, all right, now I got to know that surely there are 1,000 Big Lake Bait companies out there, because there are dozens of Payne Outdoors out there. So I figured Big Lake, I mean, that doesn't even have a name on it.
Right.
Like, that's not anybody's surname. So surely there's nope. I did a domain search. There's no Big Lake Bait. There's no Big Lake Bait Company. There's no Big Lake Co. No, none of that. And I was like, oh man. Well, okay. So this is about 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm still at the hospital, and I'm like, okay. Well, when I get home, I'm gonna check again. If it's still there, then I'm gonna have to do something with it, because it's the universe telling me I gotta do something with this.
I tell you, you're lucky. You were lucky too, because
Yeah.
I've done searches like that before, and then went back the next day and they've been tagged or they've been reserved. Sometimes I think
Yes.
GoDaddy and those companies, when they see you find something clever like that, they'll they'll
Yep.
they'll, they'll snatch it real
They'll
quick,
park it.
so they can up the price a little bit on you. But
Yep.
continue. Go ahead, brother.
And so I decided I'm going to get home. If it's there, I'm going to do something with this. It's just going to be a bait company. It's just going to be an e-commerce site. That's what it's going to do. And I had been pondering it, because Payne Outdoors plastics will never rank higher than Payne Outdoors on Google searches, because Payne Outdoors has been there for a long time. And Payne Outdoors plastics is very name specific, but it also doesn't have bait in the name. And so not everybody necessarily understands what that is. And if they see the logo, then it kind of makes sense. But if somebody's just talking about it, well, I mean, I could sell PVC, I could sell a lot of different things with Payne Outdoors plastic. With Big Lake Bait Company, there ain't no doubt what that is. Like, people know I'm selling bait. That's what it is. And so, said, all right, well, let's do this. And so I went on and I looked at the purchase price, and because I'm already a GoDaddy customer, I was able to buy the domain for a penny, and I was able to build the e-commerce template for $20. And I went to work. I designed the logo, uploaded the logo in different formats and stuff, so I could get that. Did some kind of real life graphic behind it.
Yeah, I like that, because I can see where you utilize that big worm from Payne Outdoors. So you've brought some of the old with the new, which is really cool. And with the graphic, I like how you said you used the lake in the background, which is that's awful beautiful body of water right there. Great shot. So.
Yeah. And so so built that out, and then built out the e-commerce site. I already had all my product shots for the stuff that we currently sell. And so I decided which baits I wanted to bring over and which ones I was going to discontinue. And I wanted to bring 8 baits over as my initial offering. It was in August, 8 baits. Let's just do 8. And
I like it.
So we put 8 baits on the site. I wrote the descriptions, and so our colors are a little different on this. So what I've discovered over the last 3 years of making baits is, regardless of how many cool, fancy, ooh and ah colors that you make, the majority of what you sell is going to be green pumpkin, watermelon red, white, black and blue, June bug, red bug, and pumpkin seed. Like, that's what people want. And so those 7 standard colors are available on every one of those baits, and that's our drop down list. If you want something other than that, you just use that contact form and be like, hey, can you make a 7-inch ribbon tail in this cool color that I saw from another bait company? Like, yeah, probably so. We'll give it a shot. And then I'll make a sample, shoot some pictures of it, send it to them, and then if they want it, then we'll place an order. I'll shoot them an invoice.
So for you guys out there that are curious how you do that, what you do is you look at the website and you scroll down, and right down here at the bottom you can subscribe to his sign up to his email and get 10% off. But right above that is your contact us, drop us a line, and in the message there you can tell Chris what you want and start the communication process with him there. So I heard you doing a little stirring in the background, Big Daddy. What do we got in store back there?
Yeah, so I am mixing up my colors. Um, I've got some new colors that uh, people have not really seen. If they follow me on TikTok, they might have seen one of these colors. Um, but you can kind of see that color right there. It's this green pearlescent color, and then we're shooting a laminate, and so on the other one, we're shooting it with a purple, and so it's going to be a green pearlescent with a purple pearlescent laminate bait in one of our new molds. So I've got a 4-inch kind of a ribbed French fry style bait that we're going to put on the site in September. It'll be available. And so these two colors together do really well. They're close enough to natural colors that you can fish them in clear water and it won't spook the fish, but they also can be seen in stained water pretty well, and so fish will still come and eat them.
Smash
So
it.
yeah, it's an old color from a bait company, and I can't even remember what they called it, but it really, really, really does well in pretty much every water application in pretty much the north, the south, rivers, lakes. It does ponds. It doesn't really matter. Like the fish love it. I think it's better than green pumpkin because it gives some variation. So when you have a worm and it's the same color all the way around, the fish cannot detect whether it's rocking back and forth or fluttering, right? The worm has to actually move, right? But if it turns just subtly, like rocking in the waves, the fish can't see that unless it has a tail on it, like for a stick bait, because it's cylindrical, and so they can't see that. When you shoot a laminate and you have a side that's green and then a belly that's purple, they're going to see that rock, and they're going to be able to see that more subtle motion that the water is causing in it, and it's going to look more like a fish, because when fish are in the water column, they're not just sitting still, like they're moving, and so there are subtle movements that are moving. And so laminate baits that offer a contrasting color on the bottom, it can give subtle movements in cylindrical baits a lot better look. So I'm going to I need to drop a little bit of white in this to make these show up better. And then we're going to see what it looks like. So when you're shooting pearlescent colors, you have to have a base. You can use a white base, you can use a black base, but you have to have a base color so that the pearl will show through. Otherwise, it'll just kind of blend into the light and you won't be able to see it much. So I'm just going to add a little bit more and bring that opacity up.
So we cooking that now? Is it going to take a few minutes or you?
No, it's already cooked. I'm mixing it. I'm going to shoot it here in 30 seconds. I just have to do the final mix here.
Well, while you're shooting that, I'm going to do an angler profile real quick, and then we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. So while Chris is shooting that, I'm going to pull up an angler profile, and we will be right back. See if we can get this up. All right. Appreciate Mr. Atkins jumping on there with us. Let's get Chris back into the stream here and see what he's developed in there in the background. What he's Mad Kitchen, as we used to call it back in the day. He's back in there smashing colors and
Yeah. So what I've got, John, is heat up some more plastic. So I'm going to shoot another shot of that. I think, yeah, we're cool enough that I can open this up and show you guys what we've got. So you can kind of see the color there a little bit. The lighting is not the best. It's a pretty translucent the way I shot it. And what I typically do is I measure it out, get it to a certain number, and I'll shoot it. And then I can make it darker, I can make it lighter, or what I'm doing with this one. So this is just pearlescent color in it. It has no flake. And so you're going to see it here in just a second. And what it looks like. Open this mold up. Trying to figure out the light here. And so basically one side of it is that. And then the other side, there we go. Let's do this. Okay, so you can see the green side that we just shot. And the purple side. Sorry, that light is not better. But that helps a little bit. So you can kind of see the green and the purple that we're shooting there.
very nice.
That's the right side. Let's see if we do this. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now you can kind of see the colors. So you can see the green and the purple there. And so that's a fairly translucent bait. So when you hold it up to the light, you know, you're still getting light through the back of it. So what a lot of people, they want that for super clear water, you know, stuff like that. And then what they want for dingy water is they want to add flake to it. And so what we do is we add a complementary flake color. And I can show you guys what that looks like. So we didn't change the amount of colorant. We only added a complementary flake color to it. And here's our green. And that is what the green looks like. You can see we've got that moss green color in it, so it'll make that really pop. And then for the purple, we've added some purple flake. And you can see what that looks like there.
Very nice.
And so it'll make it really pop if you're fishing dingier water. And so you've always got options when you're shooting to go darker. You can't make it lighter once you get it too dark. And so the trick is to start it translucent and then work towards opaque. And I've done it the wrong way too many times to count.
You still keep your basket of what did you call them before, where you would make molds and they would have little bubbles and you would just take them, put them in, and package them up at the end of the year and sell them as yeah.
all the different cast-offs and weird colors, and like here's this 65 worm in a clear with purple flake that sat on a chartreuse worm and kind of took a little bit of chartreuse onto it.
That's pretty sweet. You make some of the
small little stuff.
Some of your mistakes like that are some of the sweetest little blends, though.
Yeah, that's why they're hard to reproduce.
Yeah, I've thrown some of those on your flukes that you made. Oh, creature baits, nice.
Yeah, so this is a new creature bait.
Yeah,
We ended up not launching. this is really good, as a cross substitute because it's got multiple appendages that are going to flop. So if you took a crawbait and you mixed it with a brush hog, that's really what that is. And it's got a thick body, like it's a pretty robust profile. So you can put it as a jig trailer or something like that, and then you've got these little legs that hang off of it, kind of like a brush hog, that you're going to be able to do cool stuff with.
I'm glad Beth is not watching this. She'd be like, you need to order me a bunch of those right now.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about this, man, is getting to play with different stuff. And there's baits that used to sell really hot, and it's kind of like the restaurant industry. Everybody wants to eat redfish for a long time, and then everybody kind of backs off of that, and then it's stuffed flounder, and everybody backs off of that, and it's crab cakes. Things go through phases. I guess kind of like my cargo pants and all of that stuff. Right? They go through these phases. I'm gonna shoot one more with that flake in it, but I'm happy to talk while we're doing that.
Sure.
I'm trying to do things a little bit different with the e-commerce stuff to just be more efficient with what I'm doing. I'm still writing, and that stuff will still be on Payne Outdoors, but the store on Payne Outdoors will close down October 1st, and everything will be shifted over to BIGLAKEBAIT officially, and that'll be the only place to get those baits. It's
just so you guys could see some of Chris's reviews.
Yeah, there's a lot of them on there. They go back a long way. I've got some that are 9 and 10 years old on that website, and we've talked about anything and everything. We've made some mistakes on stuff. I wrote an article on the initial thoughts on the Newport Vessels motor when it came out, and I really didn't hold any punches, as is kind of my style. And I felt like it was, a copy. And I was like, nah, this is just a copy. You change some colors, it doesn't look right. Just be original. But the owner of Newport Vessels reached out, and he's like, hey, I want to talk to you about this. And I was like, well, I'm not taking it down. And he's like, no, I just want to let you know what's different, because I feel like that I haven't explained super well what all this is, and I want you to know. I said, okay, great. And so he and I talked, and then he sent me a whole big long thing. And so what we did is we went in, we added that to it. It's not so much of a retraction, but it highlights from the company, what's different. Being able to choose your own battery, not having to deal with codes, having a different style motor, even though the housing looks similar, it's a different style motor. And I think it's important to show transparency when you do that. And so we'll continue to, post retractions and changes and rebuttals, and, we'll do all of that. But initial thoughts are what consumers work on, right? You see something and you're like, oh, that looks just like a whatever. And
first impressions are deadly.
Yeah, they are. And what's even more harmful is if you have media who won't go back and correct what they've said because they're afraid to admit a mistake or short-sightedness. So I try to never do that. And now, as the owner of a bait business, I understand all the time why people are like, well, aren't your baits just like everybody else's baits? No, I would say that they're not. I would say they have a different durability. I would say that they have custom color blends. I would say that they have, unique scent that you're not going to get off the store. I would also say, you're not going to get damaged baits when you buy from me. You're not going to get limbs. You're not going to get any of that because every one of the baits that are sent out are inspected by me. Cut each one of them. I look at them, make sure there's no air bubbles. And if there are air bubbles in them, which means it's going to rip when you try to set a hook on it,
Right.
we ditch it and we reshoot. I hope to God nobody has ever gotten one of those. I have not been made aware that anybody's ever gotten one of those from me. And we've sent out a lot of baits.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten a lot of them in the past couple of years. I've never gotten anything like that. So.
Yeah, I think it's important for quality control and that kind of stuff. So we'll continue doing that with BIGLAKEBAIT Company. We're going to show you, we're going to have some new molds like this ring fry. We're going to have that guy available. Went the wrong way. In standard colors, and then if you want a custom color, you just reach out. I considered it probably, I don't know, 6 months ago, I considered just selling it all and being done with it. And then I thought about, okay, then what am I going to fish with? Because I fish a lot of soft plastics and baits that use trailers. And so what am I going to fish with? Like, who makes something that, I have some local bait makers that I would trust, but I can't go buy those off the shelf. And so there's a wait time on that. And quite frankly, I like my stuff better than anything I can buy in the store. And that's really why I do it. I was chatting with somebody about making baits, and they're like, what do you really want to get? Do you want to blow this up and have it huge and have it in all the stores? And I said, no. I said, my biggest joy comes when one of the baits that I made in my garage here in Texas catches somebody their new personal best, whether it be a bass or something else, and they send me a picture of that and how excited they are about that. That makes me excited. Like, if we sell 20 bags of baits a year or 2,000 bags of baits a year or 20,000 bags of baits a year, I think as long as I'm still enjoying it and still getting that joy from seeing people catch, great fish on it. I've seen a lot of 7s, 8s, 9s, and a couple of double digits that people have caught on baits that I made here in the garage. And that makes me happiest of all. It's not about the dollars for me. I have another job that pays me pretty well, and this is more about a passion for making good baits that I know are pretty durable, that people can catch fish on in good colors or colors that they just dream up in their head that they want, that you can't get. So that's why I'm doing it. All right, let me show you guys this flake bait.
All right, we're ready.
We shot it in the same color, but we added that flake that I showed you guys to those. And I'll show you side by side what they look like.
Nice.
So that you can see how much different flake makes in baits. Same exact color, just different. You go from some flake to no flake. And what you're going to notice is, look what this green did. Let me show you the green without the flake. Look what that did. And then the purple. That's crazy.
It seems like it made the collars pop a little bit more.
It does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. Because these baits are still fairly translucent. But let me tell you, that right there, that's going in my personal stash. That bait is going in my personal stash. Because I wish you guys could see it in person. These lights don't do it justice, but that is money. That is money, money, money. So yeah, that's how much of a difference just a little bit of flake can make. That's a quarter teaspoon of flake. So about 8 cents worth of flake.
Hey, I know in the past when the guys ordered from Payne Outdoors
Yep.
products, you um, no better way to put it. Normally they came extra more. You had one or two more per pack for $5 a pack. So, what are you are is that same type of model moving over to the Big Lake Bait
Yep.
Company? What when guys buy it, what can they expect to pay, and what's the
Yep.
deal there?
It's $5 a bag and $5 flat rate shipping, regardless of how much you order. So it benefits you to order more than one bag, or else that's a $10 bag of baits. Um,
Exactly.
um, but yeah, it's $5 a bag, and then the quantities that come in the bag are in the description. So it'll be different based on the size of the bait.
Right.
Because obviously, I'm not going to put 10 of the big lizzes in a bag.
For $5? No.
Yeah, it's just too much plastisol.
Right.
Um, it takes a ton of material to make those baits. But it's one of those things. I just really believe that $5 is a sweet spot for a bag of baits, and $5 flat rate shipping is just kind of my way of giving back, because there are some people that it won't cost but $4 to ship out. But there are some that it costs $22 to ship out, and
Right.
so it all eventually comes out in the wash. And I have always liked, when I ordered from like Tackle Warehouse or somewhere like that, like a flat rate, as opposed to, like, if you go to the post office and you've not shopped rates or anything, and you just hand them a bag and say, "Can you ship this for me?" Like, it starts at $9.
Right.
Like, it starts at $9. And so, I mean, you can do some stuff in a padded envelope, but that starts at $4.06. And like, I'm not sending my baits in a like a letter envelope. Just the amount of oil will penetrate through that, and you won't ever see those baits. So we don't do that. So we're not making a mint on it. We might save $1 here and there, but those dollars go to pay for other people's bait orders to ship.
Hey, so
But
do you still use the different scents like you used to too? Do you have the
yeah, so I have natural worm oil, I have garlic oil, and I have coffee scent. I can also add, like, if you want like a chili powder flake or something a little bit crazy like that, we can do that. My plan is to play with I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's adobo, not the chili paste kind, but the yellow seasoning salt kind. So it's like turmeric and garlic, and it's a lot of different things. The problem I'm having is it will dye a white bait yellow.
Okay.
So I've got to figure out how to offset that.
Right.
I think opaqueness will come into it. But that has a very unique scent that I'm starting to play with. And if people wanted, like, star anise, or something different, a shad oil, or crawdad oil, or some scent like that, like, I can get those pretty quick, and they're not super expensive. And so if somebody wanted that, I could order that. It may take a little longer to get the baits out, just because I got to wait on that scent to get shipped and then shoot the baits and all of that. But yeah, we'll mix them with whatever scent you want. They're all going to come with garlic oil on them, unless you request differently.
I know my lizards that I got from you last year, could have been, heck, it could have been 2 years ago now. That garlic scent had been killer. Actually, it wasn't the garlic scent. I apologize. It was the Cajun
Seasoning. Yeah.
scent seasoning that you put in it. Yeah, that
Yep.
has worked very well here.
Yeah, that came as a. So I did a live show and tell for a group called Legacy Outfitters. It's kind of a men's Christian group, and they get together and hunt and fish and do stuff here locally. They invited me out. I usually talk to them once or twice a year, but they invited me out to do a live bait making session. And after it was over, one of the presidents came up and was like, "Hey, so we make this Cajun seasoning, and I think it would be cool if you made stick baits with the Cajun seasoning in them, and we'll try them out." And I was like, "Sure, I'll do that, whatever." And so we made it up, and the guy tries them, and he starts sending me pictures of all these bass he's catching on this Cajun seasoning. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's something to do that. And so we offered that for about a year on our website. And it was called the Legacy Stick. And but if people want like Cajun seasoning in it, or cinnamon, or something like that, yeah, I'm game for that. You'll have to use the contact us form at the bottom of the website for Big Lake Bait, but you can definitely do that, and we'll give it a shot. Maybe they work, maybe they don't work. But like, if you're paying, I'm playing.
Hey, that's the great thing about this. It's like a snowflake. There's nothing. They're not the same. Nothing's the same when it comes from Big Lake Bait or Payne Outdoors. I mean, so
yeah.
I have to say, you know, I hate it when you see one chapter close and one begin, because Payne Outdoors has been really dear to my heart. But I'm glad to see you, you know, as you've explained today, you know, you can't grow with Payne Outdoors because of the algorithms. They want to talk about something else about what you have there. And with Big Lake Bait, it's going to explode.
Yeah, you know, and even if it doesn't, I'm still going to have fun with it and get a big smile from the guys that are catching fish on my baits. And that's what I care about. So we officially changed over our name on TikTok to Big Lake Bait. So if you were already following Payne Outdoors over there, all we were doing on TikTok is shooting baits. Like, that's like 95% of our videos. But if you were already following us, there's nothing you have to do. Like, it just flipped the name. So you're already following us if you were following us on TikTok. If you're not, just look up Big Lake Bait, and you'll find us there. We've got all of that going. We had to create a different Instagram, and we've got a Facebook page for Big Lake Bait up as well. And so if you guys want to go follow Big Lake Bait or Big Lake Bait Company, or how you can find it out there.
So there it is on Facebook, guys.
Yeah,
Big Lake Bait Company. That's what when you were talking about those, I was trying to pull those up there. Got 75 likes, 76 followers already.
Yeah. And so right now it's just basically we launched the page, and you know, people are finding it already, and that's great. But we're gonna, you know, shoot some videos and do some cross posting through Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and show you guys kind of what we do, because we've not really shown the Facebook world just a whole lot of bait making videos. There's a few, but not many. And so this is going to take it to a different level, and introduce the baits that we make here in this little garage in Texas to hopefully a whole new section of the country and section of the world. So.
Well, I know our West Virginia boys will be excited to follow along and join you with your venture there, man. Because hey, speaking of Texas, I'll probably be down your way here in end of September if things go well. I'll be visiting Z Pro Lithium. I work for them now, so I'll be
so I'm just north of Michael, so you're probably going to drive right by my hood as you're going down to Austin.
Well, I'll definitely let you know on them when I'm in town. Maybe we can have dinner and sit down and catch up even more. So
yeah, if we're here, if you're here on a weekend evening, then we can hit up Miller's Barbecue, and then if you're here at lunch, we can hit that any day at Miller's Barbecue. So I gotta take you to Miller's, man. So Dirk Miller is a fellow kayak fisherman, and you know, he makes some of the best brisket around. He's got amazing ribs. His smoked turkey is on point. His sides are great. And here's the kicker: his wife has a scratch-made bakery in the barbecue joint where they make pies and cookies and cakes and all the desserts, tiramisu, cheesecake, sopapilla cheesecake. They also have a butchery. Yeah.
Making Big Daddy drool over here.
They make snack sticks. They make summer sausage. I feel like this is a Miller Smokehouse commercial, but Dirk is a good friend, and let me tell you, when you want barbecue and you're rolling off I-35, you've got to stop by and see Dirk. I promise you that it is a fantastic place to stop and eat. You're going to be taken very, very good care of. They have beer on tap, different craft brews through Texas. They've got a cocktail bar. They have coffee that they make in-house. It's the Muscovy Coffee Company. Like, they do a little bit of everything. Like,
Sounds
you can get,
wonderful.
and if you're here early, they also make breakfast. They have
Yes.
scratch-made breakfast. Like, it is on.
Well, I don't know how close it is to where the boys at the HQ at Z Pro is, but I'm definitely going to look it up.
Less than an hour.
Sounds good.
All right.
Hey, man, I appreciate you taking a few moments to join us here and come back and visit us at Rusty Hook. And
Yeah.
all I can say is that, man, I'm happy for you, and I look forward to seeing great things from you with the Big Lake Bait. And I mean, I know you're going to succeed because Chris Payne doesn't fail.
Oh, he does. We just don't put it in the public.
No, he don't fail. He just moves on.
Well, there we go.
Hey, man, nothing but love for you, and I appreciate you joining us.
Appreciate you, John. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so I appreciate you guys hanging out with us here for a few minutes to hang out with Chris and learn about his new venture. If you want to know about what he does, I can tell you personally, he has a ton of videos on TikTok. He shares a lot of those reels on his Facebook and Instagram. But like he said, if you want to see a lot of his work and you're a TikToker, make sure you go look up his new branded Big Lake Bait on TikTok and go like and follow the pages that I've showed you here, like this one here on Facebook. He's a great guy to be involved with. He is a insider for kayak bass fishing. All you have to do is just search Chris Payne. He, back in 13, 14, he helped start KBF. He ran the KBF magazine for years. You would see him at ICAST, learning and following and doing all the interviews with all the new companies that were bringing out all the new products. I haven't seen him at ICAST the past few years because I believe his son was keeping him busy with graduating from high school and setting up college for him to go to college. But I suspect with Chris's ventures, you will see him at all the different trade shows in Texas and elsewhere. Payne Outdoors is not dead. It is still alive. You'll see a lot of reviews there. So make sure you go like and follow Payne Outdoors as well as Big Lake Baits. Anyway, let's take a quick break. Well, hell, we're 52 minutes into the show. Let's go ahead and sign off. Everybody have a great day. Nothing but love for you, and I wish you the best.